Good morning, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Thank y'all so much for tapping back in to see what I have to say. I promise y'all, it truly does mean the world to me. But with that being said, what are we talking about? We're talking about QUANT Network in this one and the BRICS Nations. Okay, you guys, but before we get too deep into it, I want to thank each and every one of you for liking, for subscribing, for commenting. We're on the road to 5,000 subs, and that's insane to say right now. So I appreciate each and every single one of you, okay, you guys? But QUANT Network and the BRICS Nations. One of my viewers had a question, was like, hey, does QUANT Network have anything to do with the BRICS? And my answer is absolutely. Overledger, it is a global overlay. It is literally, what did they call it? The unified interoperability layer. And yes, that does touch and connect also the BRICS nations to this global new network of networks. Follow me on this. I'm always going somewhere, okay, you guys? And all roads lead to QUANT Network and Overledger. They're interoperable software as a service, okay, you guys? So this week, we had some pretty major news come out of Russia. One of Putin's senior Russian officials, Anton I don't want to mess up his name, but I have a video coming from him, okay? And in this video, he said a lot of things, some things targeting the Trump administration. He said a lot of things in regards to the U.S. trying to reallocate gold and pushes into crypto only to devalue that and basically leave us broke, okay? But anyway, a lot of that was being said, and some of that may even be true because we already know the stable coin is backed once won by U.S. Treasuries, okay? But diving deeper into that whole announcement that he made, which was the pathway moving forward for Russia. And that is the part where QUANT Network comes in, okay, you guys? Follow me on this. I'm always going somewhere, and all roads lead to QUANT Network and Overledger, okay? So in this video, he's going to talk about several things. He's going to talk about, the economy and where they want to be technologically. He's going to talk about the digital ruble of Russia. Hello, CBDC. Who's the king of CBDCs? QUANT Network. But also, he's going to talk about something, y'all, that's a little disturbing, which are the robots. He basically compares where they are as far as the robot to labor in their country versus other parts of the BRICS nations and how they need to now catch up. And understand that this is a global effort, okay, you guys, to not only digitize the money, but also digitize the workforce. This is scary, but anyway, jumping into this first video, and I will be right back.
Remind you that following the results of the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, the President of Russia gave a number of instructions. Specifically, by October 1st, the government must develop and approve plans for structural changes in the country's economy. Structural changes. We need to change the structure of employment and consumption, improve the quality of the investment climate, increase the level of technological development, change the structure of foreign trade, increase efficiency in the field of defense and security, develop ideas for creating a new national trade model. In addition, the central bank, together with the government, must ensure the transition to the widespread use of the digital ruble, including its application in the budget process. In general, all these tasks are directly linked to the topic of developing the Far East. It is vitally necessary to change the structure of the labor market. In a short period of time, in addition to developing technologies and artificial intelligence, we need to make a significant leap in robotics and increase labor productivity. All the countries in the region are ahead of us in this area, and by a wide margin. In South Korea, for example, there are 1,000 robots per 10,000 people. In Singapore, there are 700. In China and Japan, there are 400, while we have only 16. The shortage of personnel, especially in the Far East, where it is necessary to turn the outflow of population into an inflow, forces us to robotize and automate everything much more vigorously. And as for how the service sector will change in the next 5-7 years, we simply can't even imagine it right now. We need to stimulate these changes.
Now you guys just heard him. And what was that timeline he said? By when? October. Who else said October? Oh, Christine Lagarde with the ECB, with the digital euro. Oh, that's funny. Who else has something coming up in October? Would it be some type of market structure here in America to already couple alongside of the stable coin that we have? Really, it's all being laid out right in our faces, you guys. The year of deployment is 2026. Okay, you guys, follow me on this because they have already been methodically working on this in the background. Remember, ISO TC 307, that is the global standard for building on blockchain, where you have 60 plus countries have come together, have worked for almost a decade now, you guys, on distributed ledger technology standards so it can be implemented in their countries and jurisdictions. Okay, you guys? And know that ISO TC 307, that is Quant Network's CEO, Gilbert Verdian's standard. He is the convener in chief. He is the one that started that whole thing. Okay, you guys? So we're just going to dive just a little bit into the ISO TC 307, and we're getting ready to connect all the BRICS nations right to it. Okay, you guys, this has been a methodic plan that they have been working on in the background for almost a decade. And we are now seeing their public facing decisions that they have already made privately for almost a decade now. And now it's time to show, okay, world, here's the deployment of it. And this is how you will utilize these services. Because no matter what country you sit in, when your government implements something, what can you do about it other than adopt it? Follow me on this, okay, you guys? But here we go. This video about ISO TC 307, one of the meetups of ISO TC 307, and how all the BRICS nations are tied to it, you guys. Follow me on this. I'm always going somewhere, and all roads lead to QUANT Network and their programmable, interoperable APIs. Okay, you guys? Attached directly to Overledger, the universal interoperability layer. Okay, you guys, here we go. This next video comes from my boy Maximus Crypto. Bro, you rock, and I will be right back.
So standardization activities in blockchain and, of course, distributed ledger technologies. While this was posted back in 2018, understand the importance of standards, understand the importance of blockchain, international trade, opportunities, challenges, and, of course, all that cooperation. For one, we are talking about the BRICS nations. So before we get into that, what is the goal of all this? Well, enabling interoperability through ecosystems. What's the challenge? To anticipate technology trends and their impact on applications. Don't ever forget those applications. But what is cited here? The QUANT Network standard, ISO TC 307. And we know about all this stuff, right? For the most part. If you're new to it, welcome. You can learn some things, and I have a lot of deep dives for you. But let's start off with the B in BRICS, Brazil. They mention, yes, under what? The umbrella of ISO TC 307 members. So you do see that they are basically listed here. And what's also important is understanding that there's other ones listed here. All right, so that's the B. What about R, right? Because we're talking about BRICS. Well, yes, Russia is there, Russian Federation. All right, what about, I, India, right? Real simple stuff. Yes, you see that. And if anything, under the umbrella of the Bank of International Settlements. Okay, all right, sounds good, Max. What about, for example, China? China is there under SAC. Okay, and then what about, of course, South Africa? South Africa is highlighted there under SABS. Cake moments. Russia is definitely part of BRICS. It's one of the key things that people point out when it comes to BRICS. What's this say right here, you guys? ISO/TC 307 meeting, Russia, Moscow, Russia. This happened all the way back October 22nd through the 26th, for crying out loud. So this is 2018. 4-day event happened in Moscow, Russia, and it says plain as day, ISO TC 307, the QUANT Network, QNT Network, if you want to call it that, QUANT Network standard. That is crucial. And again, I understand it's just a screenshot, but look at this. Shout out to Quant Papa for some of this. Look what it says. You had China top left. Great meetups appreciated from wherever that is. You have, for example, 22nd through the 25th, October 2018. You do have Brazil right there. Do you not? Yes, you do. And what's it say? I'll zoom in a little bit more. It says, for example, congrats, great meeting, so on and so forth, right? Then, of course, you see another BRICS nation, India. You know, people writing on this thing. About a fourth meeting, ISOTC 307. So literally, it wasn't just Russia. You have pretty much all the BRICS nations there, okay, for the most part. You know, interesting to see how all this a long time ago. You think any of these nations, you think any of these people who showed up, their representatives of these central banks?
We had to get it out of this experimental mode. And I guess the first stage for that was to really establish and found the ISO standard for blockchain. So this is TC 307. So I did that in 2015. And the idea behind that was to create a way where we can have a mass collaboration to work on the technology at an international level. And that's what's happened. So now we've got 53 countries working together to standardize blockchain across the world. And that includes organizations, startups, government, enterprise, academia, everyone. And so we set out to then bring it up into the mainstream. By standardizing the technology, we then built the platform. And so working on the ISO standards, we then built Overledger following that. And the whole idea is to bring the mass adoption of blockchain. This is good for us to look at it now that they see the potential, and they're all in. They're all in.
You guys, you just saw that. Truly understand and see directly out of also Gilbert's mouth, but also you saw all of those participants from all of those countries who signed that board. You know, I was here. I was accounted for. My voice was heard. Follow me what I'm saying, that this has been a joint global effort in secret for quite some time now. And we are now seeing, as the patrons of all of these countries, all of the public facing decisions that are now getting ready to be forced on the people, and mass adoption of this technology will happen. You have their timeline of 2026, wholesale deployment and tokenization of cross-border money, central bank money and commercial bank money. And then by 2028, we have retail's deployment of either stablecoins or CBDCs. You guys, it's happening. And for us to be sitting right here with a front row view, knowing some of the key utility players of it all, like a QUANT Network and the QNT token that literally powers the next layer of internet, is also incredible. Okay, you guys? But we're going to hop into another video, just cementing that whole 2026 deployment that I'm telling you guys about. Okay, you guys? This is it's actually going to be a mashup of a couple different things, right? We're going to have a little piece from a standards article. Then we're going to have a little bit from Quant Network. Okay, you guys? Follow me on this. I'm telling y'all, all roads lead to Quant Network and Overledger. They have been working with the Bank of International Settlements. They have been working with multiple countries and central banks on this global push of the digitization of the global universal economy. And it is now being completely birthed right now as we speak. And anyone watching me right now, we are seeing this in real time. We are seeing something that will be taught in history books to our children and grandchildren, as far as when the fourth industrial revolution happened and the digitization of the global economy. Follow me on this, okay? But here we go. This next video comes from my boy, Maximus Crypto, bro. You rock, and I will be right back.
It's called Concilium Europa. What are the main elements of the revised regulation in regards to like digital IDs? Look at this for a second, guys. This is good stuff. It says that basically by 2026, each member state must make a digital identity wallet available to citizens and accept EDIWS from other member states according to the revised regulation. Sufficient safeguards. You have to, have a wallet business model, but there must be issuance, and you must have, for example, some of these things that I guess you could say, run in the background. And that is, does it match up with what Quant mentioned? And it does. From the QUANT Network site, they talk specifically about how they are a member of British Standards Institution, and if anything, that they had attendees from several working groups, and how all this came together through standardization, and talks about that some of these key topics include vocabulary, terminology, security, privacy, and identity management, but through ISO, okay, and more particular ISO TC 307, like we see right here, implementing this. Okay, so you saw from MasterCard, you saw from Bank International Settlements, heck, you even saw it from India, all talks about a multi-ledger token solution. Okay, this is how it comes full circle, guys. Quant's blockchain payments offering called multi-ledger token solution provides a proven mechanism for meeting all requirements of the CBDC described. It is possible. It is a solution which implements the IMF's International Monetary Fund, for some people that don't know that, semi-decentralized. That's the term I was looking for earlier. Model enables simple and flexible implementation of synthetic CBDC. It could also be used by banks as a more flexible type of stablecoin. In this section, we'll look at how Quant's MLTS works. In brief, funds or collateral are held in escrow. Financial institution comes in, such as central banks, yada yada. And basically, you have the whole thing of how the tokens are issued or minted on a private DLT. Is there a mixture of this? Yes. Is there a quant model? Yes. As we get into this, you will see that there is a section that goes into detail on how it all comes together. And I won't bore you with all the technicalities, but the bottom line is that Quant has a model, and that basically speaking, that they have they have a ledger for interbank retail and wholesale payments. We know that. But this receives transaction fees in real time from financial institutions, DLTs via an API. That was the whole point of having something that's blockchain agnostic, because again, all those banks don't necessarily want to pick only one particular or multiple particular blockchains and so on. They wanted something that would be a lot more easier, hence why it's called the Overledger, something that would sit over all of those particular blockchains. As I get into this next part, you will see that even with Quant's MLTS, think about that, and all the references we talked about before, that this will allow funds to be used on any DLT, okay? And that Quant has a patent for it, many patents for multi-ledger token technology. And of course, there's more about the model, but when we get more further down into the outline, will this benefit a lot of things? Yes. Housing benefit, emergency payments. Oh man, Internet of Things, machine to machine. And Quant's MLTS is a peer-to-peer, and a card context. How is that? Because it allows for the connectivity, not just through the MLT layer, but also with settlements outline. You will see that there's key elements of this outline, key elements of the MLTS, and it's basically this. There's a bank DLT infrastructure statements about how this mirrors the bank's balance in MLTS and holds a variety of accounts. These include customer accounts as well as bank's internal holdings, and how they settle, and how it's part of the CBDC accounts on the front end, and how this DLT infrastructure, obviously Quant's Overledger, holds counterparty accounts, and how you also see how there's an authorization service, and it connects to what? Interbank payment messages for this MLTS system.
I'm Gilbert Burdian. I'm a technologist with a deep background in cybersecurity and a passion in business to make ideas a reality. My philosophy in life is tackling large transformational issues and solving those pain points for the next generation. And it's looking at the technical challenge, the core of the problem, and having that breadth of experience and background to really solve the problem head on. At Quant, we're pioneers in digital money and programmability of all forms of money. This is a transformational shift in the way money works. We have been using a design of money that was made 60 years ago. that hasn't really changed that much. It's binary. It does two things. It's very simple. It's a push and a pull. What is so different to this is money can do multiple things for the first time. It's no longer a push and a pull. It can understand a language, it can understand instructions, and it could do things on your behalf and automate business processes. We've never had this before, and it's the first innovation in the world to bring programmability to all forms of money. The way we want money to work is the same as information. It should be available globally, it should be instant, and it should understand what we need it to do. And that's why QuantFlow does. It solves that problem. Part of QuantFlow, we've created the language of money called PayScript. PayScript enables businesses, banks, consumers to program money and talk to money to instruct it to automate things. And what we found was if we take that friction away, enable people to automate their lives, their businesses, they are going to free themselves up, reduce costs, and get on and focus on business. And it's going to be a dramatic shift in the way we operate as a whole. So we're looking forward to what happens globally with this because we're changing the dynamics of business.
Now, as you can see, that is a multi-layer, multi-token, multi-network CBDC. This is the reason why you have the Bank of Australia, when they talked about their CBDC deployment with Project Acacia and Hedera, what did they say? We have our own APIs. You bring your nodes. When we have the ECB, central bank, what did they say? We have our own APIs. You come ready to attach to them. See what's being laid out right in front of our faces and know that that API, that interoperable API that even things like MasterCard is using and Visa is using and Amazon is using, understand all of the RLN, which stands for the Regulated Liability Network, is also using. Truly see what is being laid out. These interoperable APIs that flow from Overledger, the overlay of overlays, don't get me wrong, Overledger is not just money, you guys. It is every network, but they're starting with the money, okay? The money and assets. That's why it's this huge push for tokenization right now. That's why that word again is on everybody's tongue, tokenization. You see huge pushes now from even the NASDAQ and them starting to tokenize and wanting to move into a 24/7 environment. Truly see what's happening. Okay, and I have a whole video coming out also about quant and tokenization. Yes, QUANT Network and doing real-time tokenization. Follow me on this, okay, you guys? I'm always going somewhere, and I'm telling y'all, all roads lead to QUANT Network and Overledger. And it's not just because it's the best technology out there, but it's because they have tied themselves to internet protocols, SATP, coming out of the IETF, and they have tied themselves to global standard organizing bodies, multiple of them, but more importantly, the one of this video, which is ISO TC 307, the global standard for building on blockchain, the global standard that literally just met this February. I want to say that was in Italy or France. I can't remember the country that they met in, but they just met this February. We did a whole video about it. I think I did 2 videos. My boy Maximus also did a video about it as well. Understand, you guys, this is truly happening. We truly have a front row seat of seeing the entire world on board the distributed ledger technology sector, truly tapping into the 4th industrial revolution and bringing on the mass adoption of crypto, or more dignified distributed ledger technologies. And for us to be sitting right here in 2025, watching this video and bringing in this information, and then knowing that QUANT Network and the QNT token is right there, facilitating it all. The global interoperable network of networks is being built out right in front of our faces. Things like the Finternet is being built out right in front of our faces. Things like the unified ledger is being built out right in front of our faces. Okay, you guys? And truly see that these ISO gems that we hold, these hederas, these XRP, these XLM and XDC and IOTA and QNT are sitting alongside of some of the biggest entities in the world. You now have the DTCC, which stands for the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, now acknowledging ETF applications from people like XRP and people like Hedera. Why? Because these ETFs are about to go live, you guys. And understand all of the institutional capital that will flow inside of these ETFs over the next few years after this go live in this November. Truly see how it is all getting in alignment for the deployment of this sector to not only survive, but thrive on massive levels. We have players talking about they're getting ready to tokenize $100 trillion, you guys. Truly see. And that's just one entity, and that's DTCC alone. Truly see what's being laid out. You have these countries now onboarding distributed technologies and making public announcements in regards to the processes that they're going through, which means that the deployment of those public announcements are not far behind. Follow me on this. I'm always going somewhere. All roads lead to QUANT Network and Overledger. They're interoperable software as a service that is white labeled and patented globally. Okay, you guys, I really appreciate all of y'all tuning in. I really appreciate each and every one of y'all tapping in. If you made it all the way through this entire video, type in BRICS, because QUANT Network, yes, is right there, right alongside of the BRICS nations, just like they're alongside of Europe and America and any other player in the world that is tied back to the global standard, so that every player in the world can do seamless, interoperable trade and commerce together like they do now and like they want to continue to do at light speeds in the future. Okay, you guys? I appreciate you. Till the next time, y'all already know. Type in BRICS. That way I know y'all made it through this entire video. For real, y'all. Till the next time. Peace out.